Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Dr. Jeff C. May, and welcome to another episode of Doctor's Orders, advice you should actually take and listen. This one is inspired by some statistics that unfortunately got me riled up, some statistics that really bothered me, because here's the deal. At the end of the day, the internet, the social media platforms, they're full of quote unquote gurus that say do this, but yet those things that they tell you to do don't mean squat, because they don't get you the results. In today's episode, it's all about, hey, how do you make change? How do you really tilt the scales and make change? You see, the statistics that bothered me recently were 83% of men cannot do an unassisted pull-up, which means they cannot by themselves lift their own body weight up to do a pull-up. 83% of men. 73% of Americans are overweight. Obese or overweight, there's 73%. That means like literally 3 out of 4 people. 5 out of 6 people will suffer from heart disease during their lifetime in the United States. Like, this is not okay. This is red, white, and blue. God bless America. And yet we're suffering like this when it comes to our healthcare. And at the core of everything is your health. And so I really have thought about this over the last few days since I heard those statistics. And I'm like, well, how do people make change? Like if I were faced with a challenge in life, like for example, if there was a certain result in my life that I just did not like I did not like a result, how would I change that result? Well, I know if I go one step before that, I got to change my behaviors. Like clearly something I'm doing is getting me that result. And if I stop doing that thing and maybe do something different, I'll get a result that I want. Okay, that makes sense to me. Like I can walk through that thought process and that makes sense. Well, what drives my behaviors? Well, my beliefs drive my behaviors. Okay, so what is it that I'm believing, but it's producing a result that I don't want? Well, obviously there's got to be a belief, and this is where I land. There's a belief that somewhere that's good for you. Like I was driving down the interstate today. We're running some errands with my daughter. We're kind of doing a daddy-daughter morning and a little one-on-one time. It was great. We had great conversations. As I'm driving by this car on the interstate, they were in the slower lane. I was in the faster lane, of course, because that's where I drive. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I was in the faster lane, and she's smoking a cigarette. Here's this beautiful person smoking a cigarette. And I thought to myself, people still smoke? Like, of course they do, but like I had this thought, I'm pretty sure, like I remember when restaurants, like there was smoking sections or non-smoking sections, and then they kind of did away with that, and bowling alleys you couldn't smoke, in all of these places, and I'm like, man, people still smoke. Like we've known forever that smoking can cause cancer, lung disease. It doesn't improve your life. Like there's no. I challenge someone in the comment section or when you're watching this, like, tell me the benefit of smoking. Like, tell me a benefit of smoking cigarettes. Like, there's not, but yet people still do it. So in their head, it's got to serve a purpose. Like, if they're acting a certain way, like their behaviors are smoking, and the results are not good, they're not positive, they're cancer, lung disease, all the things, bad breath, bad teeth, like all of those things, those are the results they're getting. They can't want those results. So where is it that serves them? Now, I've heard this people say when they're trying to quit smoking, like, I'm worried because I'm going to gain so much weight. Like, I'm skinny, when I'm smoking. Well, guess what? There's other ways to get skinny. Like, don't choose smoking. Like, don't choose another poison to solve, something that's going to kill you sooner anyway in obesity. Like that doesn't make sense to me. But ultimately, a story I want to share with you and hopefully make sense and wrap this up episode fairly short, fairly fast hitting is when I was growing up. So my dad ran a lumberyard in O'Neill, Nebraska for 30 plus years. And my mom worked there. And I remember a lot of times, like, there's 3 of us kids. I've got an older and a younger sister. And we would be at the lumberyard and mom and dad were working and we'd help. We'd go clean like the alleyways, straighten the lumber piles, do those things. And then eventually as I got older, there were some responsibilities like, hey, this customer comes in and they need some nails or some screws or whatever it was. But I remember distinctly back where they kept the boxes of nails, there was a scale. And the scale I'm thinking about is that it had the weights that slid across the top. So if you can picture this, it's like the old school. It's like, okay, you slide the weight, that's a set weight, and then you put the nails on the platform that weighs it. And when that scale will balance out in the middle of the metal bracket, then those weights are equal. And it was interesting because when you think about that, you had to keep adding. You had to keep tilting the scale, so to speak. And that's the analogy I thought of when we're going through this, is because your reasons are going to produce your results. So what I mean by that is that you have right now, if there's results in your life that you don't like, that you don't want, and you want to change, you've got reasons you have those results in your life. And there's more reasons to have that result than not. So for example, if you're overweight right now, and maybe you've never thought about this, and this is a perfect opportunity, somewhere in your brain, you have reasons to be overweight. You may think, well, I can't stop eating. Okay, well, that's just a belief, because there's a lot of times probably where you do stop eating. Why aren't you 100 pounds more than you are right now? Well, that's because you don't eat enough. So you do know how to stop. Like, you think about this thing. So there's more reasons in your life to have the results in your life that you currently have. So if you want a different result, one of the first steps, okay, and I'm just saying one of the first steps that most people skip, this is why I'm addressing it on this episode, is that you have to have reasons to change. You need reasons to change. Think about this. How many of you guys know somebody that all of a sudden had a heart attack, and praise God they didn't die, because most first signs of heart disease are a fatal heart attack, which means a person first realizing that they actually have a problem, they die when it comes to heart disease. So say, you have that family member, they had a heart attack, they lived, and they radically changed their lifestyle. They started exercising, they stopped drinking alcohol, and all of a sudden they quote unquote got healthy because they hit that massive reason face to face called, hey, you're dead, and now you're not dead, and you could have been dead. Like, that was enough reason for them to change. And so what's it going to take for you in your life? For some people, you just need to have more pain. Like, you're not at rock bottom enough to change. And that sucks, because my 17 years in healthcare and natural healthcare, it's like my heart breaks for those people, and we try and always educate and encourage and empower people to become proactive with their health. Don't wait until there's a heart attack to exercise. Get rid of the seed oils in your diet and nutrition. Get regular chiropractic care. Stop waiting till there's a problem and trying to medicate your way out of a behavioral issue. It will never work. You can never medicate your way out of a lifestyle habit or a sick style habit that you've been living for the last 4 decades. So when you look at this, it's like, what are your reasons? It would do you massive amounts of good to find a sheet of paper and a pen, a pencil. I don't care if you have to write this sucker in blood, but find out what you want. Like, so here's where you start. You can take a sheet of paper and you draw a line down the middle. I don't care if it's vertical or landscape. Draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, you can say my current results. And you list all the things you're pissed off about. I'm overweight. I can't quit smoking. I don't brush my teeth. I don't know what it is. Whatever it is, my low back hurts, I have headaches, whatever it is, those results. And then you list out all those results that you're currently not wanting to have in your life. And then on the other side, you write out the other results you want. I want to quit smoking. I want to be actively, functionally fit. I want to be skinnier, whatever it is. It's pretty much the opposite of the first column. And then you get another sheet of paper, and now you write, and here's where it gets hard, and here's where most people won't do it. In fact, most people listening will not do this. But then you write out the reasons why you're overweight. And you just sit there, and this is for you and those extras, or you write out the reasons you smoke. And now, on the flip side, you got to start writing the reasons that you don't want to smoke. Maybe you want to be around more for your grandkids or your children or your spouse, whatever it is. You get the point. At the end of the day, it's your reasons that are producing your results. And a lot of times those reasons are synonymous with excuses, especially when you're trying to overcome something negative in your life that isn't helping you live a healthier, happier, more productive life. When it's something that's hindering you, many, many times those things aren't reasons, they're actually excuses. And if you can find a breakthrough and you start stacking up enough reasons to change, you'll change. Because why can't you change today? Like, very, very few people don't know what they need to do. They know what they need to do. They're just not doing it. So why aren't you doing it? So for a lot of people, like I mentioned, you're not sick of it enough. You don't have enough pain built up, and you may need to hit rock bottom, and that's sad, but that's your life and that's your journey. I'm just telling you, doing this exercise will do wonders for you. And truly, I've seen this time and time again. At least turn the lights on for people. At least get eyes on a potential blind spot they may be having in their life and an excuse they really didn't realize they were making. And they have to say, yeah, I need to change that. And then all of a sudden, boom, you see them a month later, a year later, and you barely recognize them. So I want to encourage you guys, grab a couple sheets of paper, do that exercise, share this episode. Truly, like the only thing, I don't market this thing. It's just simply a podcast I do at Advantage Health Center. I go up in the podcast room and sit there, but I pray it reaches the people it needs to reach and impact the people it needs to impact. And that's part of the mission here. As we look to help radically improve people's lives and help them become healthier and happier and more productive over the course of their lifetime so that their quality of life goes up, their joy and happiness goes up, and all of those amazing things happen. So appreciate you guys listening. Until next time, stay healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.